Kamala Harris makes her first public remarks since President Biden dropped out of the presidential race in place of the COVID isolating president. Harris hosted the NCAA Championship Day at the White House, but before she congratulated the NCAA Championship athletes, she spoke about her boss.
His honesty, his integrity, his commitment to his faith and his family, his big heart, and his love, deep love of our country. And I am firsthand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
She told the athletes and coaches that in one term, President Biden has surpassed the legacy of most two-term presidents. Harris then went on to comment and commend the athletes from 7 undefeated NCAA teams, 11 repeat champions, and 20 first-time championship winners.
A lot going on as President Biden becomes the first incumbent since Lyndon B. Johnson in 1968 not to seek re-election.
His decision to step down and endorse his vice president to replace him on the Democratic ticket set off a political earthquake. Connor Hansen is live with more on this political earthquake, although many saw it coming. Good morning.
Good morning, Sandra and Aroxia. Political earthquake and a busy start to the week for Vice President Kamala Harris ever since President Biden made his statement yesterday saying he's stepping away from the race but throwing all of his support behind his vice president. Now she's received other support from other high-profile Democrats, but still has a lot of work to do, making a lot of calls, trying to get those delegates. We also saw her first public appearance since that announcement. Take a look.
We're ready, and we're behind Kamala.
Some Democratic voters already rallying behind Vice President Kamala Harris in her new bid for the White House. The Harris campaign says the vice president raised nearly $50 million in grassroots donations since President Biden withdrew from the race on Sunday. But she will need to lock up more than 1,900 delegates to earn her party's nomination at next month's convention.
The delegates will have the opportunity to cast their delegates in a roll call vote for whomever.
A growing number of Democrats are endorsing Harris, including Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, both potential running mates. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin suggests Democrats hold a mini primary to select a more moderate candidate.
Neither side can win without the sensible, moderate middle. They can't do it. But yet no one's going that direction.
Meanwhile, Politico reports President Biden made the decision to withdraw after going through data and fundraising numbers with his closest aides. Biden plans to address the country later this week, but he's facing calls from some top Republicans in Congress to immediately resign.
He doesn't have the ability to be president of the United States if he can't run for president of the United States.
And we still haven't seen President Biden since he went to Delaware to recover from COVID. We're still not sure when he'll come back, but he is planning to deliver remarks to the American people about his decision to step away from the race. We're also learning that Vice President Harris will be heading to Delaware to meet with campaign workers. Sandra, Aroxia.
Oh, you touched it a little bit about this, but really the big thing is all this money that came in overnight for the campaign. A lot of this money was in question, just waiting to see what would happen before people poured more money into this campaign. So that's why we're seeing these big numbers all of a sudden.
Yeah, staggering numbers, really. Almost $50 million raised by the Harris campaign since yesterday's announcement. She'll also have access to around $90 million that was already being held by the Biden-Harris campaign. No one else would have been able to get that.
And Connor, I should ask you real quickly, what have we been hearing from former President Donald Trump in all of this? His reaction?
We saw him post to Truth Social basically saying if President Biden isn't well enough to run for re-election again, he can't be operating as the president and should resign. That's something we're hearing from a lot of Republicans right now. So I think we can expect to continue to see that push. Still a good amount of time before the election, but so far everything we've seen from President Biden is that he will be resolute in staying with the job until he's done at the end of his term.
He mentioned that in his statement, which he released yesterday. Connor, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Meanwhile, another big story we continue to follow. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill called for the head of the Secret Service to resign over the attempted assassination of former President Trump. Director Kimberly Cheatle called the incident the most significant operational failure in decades, and she vowed to make sure there's not a repeat of it.
We must learn what happened, and I will move heaven and earth to ensure that an incident like July 13th does not happen again.
Under Director Cheatle's leadership, we question whether anyone is safe. Not President Biden, not the First Lady, not the White House, and certainly not the presidential candidates.
A short time ago, Director Cheatle revealed that the Secret Service was told about a suspicious person at the Pennsylvania Trump rally 2 to 5 minutes before the shooting.